Life is not much pleasant for children who live in urban informal settlements, given the numerous challenges they face on a daily basis. Hope is, however, alive for the lucky ones in Nairobi's Korogocho slums, where Akakoro Football Academy is providing a life-changing opportunity for the less fortunate children.
We provide a meaningful sports and life skill development activities that are supporting school enrollment and educational achievement for some of the most disadvantaged children in the urban informal settlements of Korogocho and its neighborhoods.
We have 6. The programs provide great potential to alleviate poverty for the beneficiaries, while also presenting them with rare opportunities to play against some of the major European football clubs.
Once a year we travel to Europe with a team to compete in an international tournament. In the past we had big successes there against professional clubs like Atletico Madrid or FC Barcelona, and this gives the children the opportunity to showcase their skills on an international level.
Children living with disability also get an opportunity to transform their lives through the programs that have been initiated by the Academy.
We implemented a pilot project with UNICEF Kenya in the year 2019, where we integrated 10 children living with mild intellectual disabilities. Also, we were fortunate that we received a capacity building workshop from Special Olympics with regard to the inclusion of disability component in our project.
Other than just playing football, children from Korogocho slums get an opportunity to indulge in other activities that have been initiated by Akakoro Football Academy that will enable them to change their life status. Ronald Agak for Africa News in Nairobi, Kenya.
The arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 dealt a double blow to the Egyptian tourism sector. Russian tourists are now even beginning to flock back to areas like the Sharm el-Sheikh 6 years after a terror attack amid the ongoing pandemic. Russia had instituted a blanket ban on all flights to the Red Sea from 2015 and even to Cairo for a few weeks.
Okay, I don't feel too many differences because the hotel, the people, bazaar and the city is I think it's almost just the same. So I liked it many years ago and I like it right now as well. So
tourism represents about 10% of the GDP of Egypt, where a third of the 100 million strong population lives below the poverty line. But in August, the fortunes of Sharm, as it is effectively known, started to look up when this first plane from other places like Moscow touched back down at the local airport. We only need one good season in Sharm el-Sheikh, only one successful season of 4 months, like we used to have before the revolution, especially in 2009 and 2010. That's all we need. Tour guide Abdelkader Abdelrahman, who was preparing to take a group of Hungarian adventurers on tour safari on a squad bikes, was delighted to see the tourists miling around town. There are about 2 million people working in the tourism industry in Egypt, their incomes depending on tourism. When tourism drops, the sector is strongly affected and shops and restaurants close. Recently, we've been doing much better. Tourists are also happy to be back in the largest Arab country with plenty to explore, from the pyramids in the north to the beauty of the Red Sea corals.
Sierra Leone's Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education is set to place a ban on corporal punishment in all schools. This initiative is lauded by many, but a great concern for teachers.
But one thing I want to tell the government, if they can list all the punishment that the teachers in the school have to do with the children, it's better. Because we don't know what kind of punishment we should give the children. When they say you can't stand there for the rest of the day, it's a punishment. Kneel down is a punishment. put your hands up with the punishment.
How can teachers handle punishment without beating? Mrs. Remi Siati is the head teacher at the Meriwether Preparatory School.
When you are using the stick, the children are afraid to come to school. So you can use other method by letting them to kneel down, to stand up, not to go out during playtime. And even the home, you can get the home involved, because if some children, they misbehave, you have to send for the parents.
For me as a parent, I don't want to let them pull and finally. Now small. Because what you do, it begin there, then go begin disrespect the teachers, then go fetch the teachers, and one thing, then show the beginning rights and left the responsibility later.
According to a report by Strengthening Accountability, Building Inclusion Survey report, 89% of students report having been flogged in school, and a frequency of about 56% reporting having been flogged once a week is also eminent.
Some of these pupils, they normally need to be punished at the same time. Like guys that are not taking instruction, like don't scale the fence, and some guys even pretend to slap their teachers. If there should be a punishment, it should be 3, 2, or so.
It's not in everything you should punish or use a whip to chastise a person. But in another case, it is also said in the Bible that you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So it has an advantage and also a disadvantage in that. But if it's left with me, I don't want it to be abolished.
According to a press release from the ministry, a comprehensive policy and strategy that includes training and support for teachers in positive discipline will be implemented.
Cambridge University College recently handed a bronze statue looted in the 19th century back to Nigerian officials in the first such move by a UK institution. Sonita Elaine, the head of Jesus College, gave the elaborately carved cockerel known as Okukor to a Nigerian delegation. Okukor was among thousands of African artifacts stolen from the continent during British colonial rule.
Very happy to see that this artifact, which has been away from Nigeria for decades, is in good shape, in excellent shape. And by the time we take this object back to Nigeria, people in Nigeria will be extremely excited.
Okukor was looted along with hundreds of sacred sculptures and carvings known as the Benin Bronze by a punitive British military expedition in the former Kingdom of Benin in southern Nigeria in 1897. A Paris museum last week exhibited over dozens of colonial-era treasures taken from Benin. The last time they will be shown in France before being handed back in a landmark gesture. All the pieces are important. There are some that were never seen that will enrich us more. If I take the statue of Glele and Henzo, they were not in our collection. It will be a plus. I am happy to welcome them back. Europe's universities and institutions in general have seen a recent wave of soul-searching spurred on by the Black Lives Matter movement. This has led to a change in their statutory to return some of the claimed collection back to their origin.
We want to change the narrative in a way that any exhibition that will be done in any of the museums, we participate fully, so that we tell the stories from our own perspective.
The restitution cause culminated last year in a vote in the French Parliament, where lawmakers overwhelmingly backed returning a group of artifacts to Benin and Senegal, another former French colony. 2 people died and hundreds others evacuated after an underground pipeline in Clearwood, Durban, South Africa caught fire, forcing hundreds of local residents to seek refuge on a nearby football pitch. It is alleged 3 people were involved in a botched fuel theft attempt, leading to a fire outbreak that engulfed business buildings and an informal settlement. Explosions and rapid fires broke out in the area at around 3 a.m. Sunday morning. Firefighters, paramedics, police and Metro Police responded to the scene and were able to put out the fire. Local security company Security Force said several people suffered smoke inhalation. The petroleum company involved, known as the Transnet Pipeline National Operations Center, immediately shut down the pipeline and activated the emergency response plan. The company claimed there has been an unprecedented spate of fuel theft incidents on its pipelines and infrastructures during the last 2 years. The The cause of the fire is still being investigated by the South African authorities.